Hello everyone, this is Steve Yoder. Welcome to week 5 in Legal Studies 246, the legal environment of business here at the UAB Collat School of Business in the fall of 2016. This week we are looking at administrative law. What are the rules and regulations that administrative agencies produce that can affect business? And we will also be starting our look at the law of torts. As usual, we have some chapters from the textbook to read, in this case, Chapter 5 on administrative law and Chapter 6 on tort law. We'll be continuing tort law in the next learning module as well. There are some other learning activities, including the PowerPoint slides, a narrated version of those slides. There are some short articles, and there's even an audio that I would like you to look at on administrative law, explaining the meaning of the statute in front of the Federal Trade Commission, one of the most important administrative agencies regulating business today. As we've discussed in earlier learning modules, our law in the United States that affects business comes from several sources. This week we are going to be looking at administrative law as a source of regulation of business. We'll be discussing that there are 3 functions of administrative agencies: making the rules, enforcing the rules, and somewhat surprisingly, perhaps, they also can act as their own courts for deciding whether the rules have been broken or not. There is a question in the question pool for the first exam about what the Food and Drug Administration did with these particular Camel cigarettes. That was an example of that agency's enforcement powers, not their rulemaking powers, their enforcement powers. The rulemaking process is long, but it's designed to be long so that everybody gets a say. We actually have far, far more regulations produced by administrative agencies than we have laws. Look at the difference here in this photograph that we'll be looking at during the learning module learning activities. There are limits on administrative agency powers that keep them from getting too powerful. The courts have some control, the White House has some control, and Congress has some control, and we'll be looking at all of those. We'll also be starting our look at the law of torts, and we will be starting with why we have a law of torts and what do we mean by intentional torts against human beings and against property. One example of an intentional tort against a human being would be the tort of intentional infliction of emotional distress, and we'll be using the movie Borat from a couple of years ago to illustrate that. As a reminder, we have a great deal of things coming due not too long from now. Look at the calendar here on Friday, October 7 at 11:59 p.m. Several very important assignments will come due, including the first exam. Here's a extra credit opportunity for you that's a little bit different than what we've done before. Search for a Facebook page called UAB Online Business Degrees. Find that page. Look for my post on the left-hand side. You might have to search for it. And all I ask that you do is like my most recent post on that page, which will show up. Your like will show up, and I'll be able to see who liked it. And I will add 2 points to your first exam that, as I said before, will be in a few weeks, but you have to like the page by Sunday night, October 2nd at 11:59 p.m.